Okay, hi Melanie. Hi everybody. Today we're doing the Time to Wine broadcast, which is live, and it is on the second and fourth Monday of the month at 9 a.m. And now I'm doing a live broadcast that will be on the first and third Friday of the month. I am also starting an Instagram broadcast. Currently, the broadcast is featured on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, and anything else that comes up. So today we're talking to Melanie Ofenloch. Did I get it? Did I say it right?
Or You're good. Okay. No, all good.
Okay, good. Is a marketing consultant with a top 100 wine global blogger with a love of wine. And we're going to talk a little bit about her background and her wine blog. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your background, Melanie?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Jessica. I'm really happy to be here and getting to talk to you today. The blog happened, I guess it's been a little over 11 years ago. And I was working, my paying job is in marketing. And I was working at a marketing firm. And I saw all of these things happening on social media. And early in my career, there was someone that we referred to as Sleepy Bill. And Sleepy Bill was an executive vice president, and he sat in his corner office, and no one could figure out what he did other than to read the Wall Street Journal. So it was, for me, I didn't want to be Sleepy Bill and didn't want to be left behind, as I now have that executive vice president title. So I got on Twitter and I started talking about marketing. And I realized about 45 days in that the 40-something people that followed me worked for me, and there was nothing social about that. So I decided to start talking about wine. And I told my husband when I hit 1,600 followers, I have no idea where that number came from. On Twitter, I would start a blog. And that came in less than a year. And I attended the first Wine Bloggers Conference for me. And gosh, I guess that was 2010, and it's been a journey ever since.
Okay, so why do you blog, and what do you blog about?
I blog because I love wine. I love telling the story of wine, and I've met so many amazing people through the process. And it's been, it's just been a journey. It's been a ton of fun. It's something that I do because I love it. It's not anything I want to get paid to do, which may make me a little bit crazy, but I never want it to become a job.
Okay, so you just like it to be fun. Yep. So tell us where you have traveled and some of your culture shock experiences.
Well, I used to have a job where I ran global marketing. So I've been to so many places, every place from India, which at the time did not have a great wine culture. At the time did not recommend that. I've been to Singapore, I've been to France, I've been to Italy, I've been to Stockholm, which is that's where I worked. So I've been just about everywhere. Not enough I have a bucket list, which I still haven't gone to. Culture shock. I'm a very open, adventurous person. So I love experiencing different cultures. When I went to India the first time, people told me that it will meet and exceed every stereotype that I ever thought that it would. So from the signs about having the monkeys, don't leave your windows open because monkeys will take your jewelry. From cows crossing in the middle of the road and everybody stops, to just the diversity of the culture and the kindness of the people. It was, I loved my trips there, but you always learn that you just couldn't expect something.
I've been to Brazil 14 times, so I have quite a few. Yeah. If you want to know my travel experiences, I've got quite a few experiences there. So tell us about the Wine Bloggers Conference, or the conferences that you attend, and what you've learned from these conferences.
Gosh, probably the biggest one that I've ever been to was in Italy. which was amazing. But think of several football fields of Italian wine and Italian wine vendors and trying to navigate that. And of course, the Italians dress immaculately. So you're in your heels, you're in your suit. And I don't think I've ever, even though I've worked in the industry for a long time, I don't think I've ever had feet that were that sore in the past. Yeah, I probably have been to 7 or 8 wine bloggers conferences. I've been to TechSom. I've really just been on a journey, with some of the best and the brightest, really to learn as much as I can.
It sounds wonderful. What would you say some of your takeaway tips are?
Gosh, I think anyone who works in wine knows that you definitely need to sample very sparingly.
Yes.
You don't want to be that person ever. And you've gone to conferences and have seen someone that doesn't quite understand the rules of that. I think it's really just keeping an open mind, trying to keep a schedule open so you can immerse yourself in the moment with people that you meet, or opportunities that pop up at the last minute, because there's a lot that come up at conferences, and if your schedule is packed, then you just won't have an opportunity to dive in.
Okay, great. So let's talk a little bit about, what are your favorite wines, or what sort of wine experiences have you had that are way up there on your list?
Well, it's hard to name a favorite. If I was on a desert island, I would love to be stranded with champagne.
Okay, yes.
If I had to choose.
I like champagne.
Probably one of the most interesting things I've ever done is I got to blend wine with Mitch Costantino and with Scoto Wines, and had an amazing time. We went out to the Morfrey Vineyard in Lodi. We made a Zinfandel. We made a Sangiovese. We didn't make Zinfandel, which was notable. And it was so humbling and so interesting to go through all of the different components that work together or don't work together. And they actually bottled this wine. They submitted this wine to the Wine Advocate, and we got a score that was actually rated in the 90s.
Oh, wonderful.
So.
And I've noticed that you have a large group of people in your network that you know in the wine industry. Do you want to talk a little bit about networking, or some of the people that you've met and where you've met them?
Oh, gosh.
If it's possible. I know
That's a tough question to call somebody else.
I know someone in every country in the world, I think. Okay.
No, I would say the power of social media and making friends with people virtually, I think that has been amazing. I mean, there's so many groups that I'm a part of, and they all bring something certain and something different to my life, whether it's specialing about a certain region, whether it's just people I've met through conferences that are just a ton of fun. We have a group that I think have gone online at least once or twice a week for a year. And it's a very close-knit group of people from all over the place. And we just have a great time just talking wine or talking about life, or, being ridiculous. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun.
I think what I found particularly interesting about wine is that many of the people in the wine industry are huge international travelers. So we all tend to be the same kind of people that have been in different countries, and we're very cultural people that know how to interact with each other. So I wanted to ask you, I know you've got a blog. You're a heavy social media user. So do you want to talk a little bit about how you use social media, or how do you use social media to market yourself or your blog?
Yeah. I've been lucky in my consulting business that I have just gotten to work with people that I know and people that I trust. When I left corporate, I didn't want to work with people that wouldn't be someone that I would want to have a glass of wine with, or I wouldn't trust implicitly. So it's been over 4 years, and I've had the opportunity to do that. And it's been such a gift. And, I think with social media, you have to have a perspective. You shouldn't post the same thing on everything. I really try to tier my content for, who's interested in what. So, Instagram is going to be the one with the most pictures. Facebook is probably going to be more of an event that people can go to, or something that they can be a part of. Maybe it's in Dallas, maybe it's near Dallas. And I think that Twitter is, where I started. So there's such an engaged global wine community there that kind of anything goes on Twitter. And the good thing that I'm seeing now is, with the pandemic, there was a lot of wine negativity and people calling each other out on that. And that was not something that I think that we needed. And it seems to be turning the tide back to changing back to just talking about wine.
Okay, great. And also, I wanted to ask you about COVID. How has COVID, this whole pandemic, which none of us expected, that's been going on for over a year, where I am, we are back into, I'm trying to think of the right verbiage. We're high risk, and we're about to go into extremely high risk again. So we're about to go in, I think, another lockdown. So there's been continual change for the past year that we've all had to deal with. Tell us a little bit about your experience with the continual change.
Well, I'm in Texas, so everything's open for business.
I saw during some extreme lockdowns, I think Atlanta had opened back up and their COVID was soaring up. So yes.
Yeah, it's there's something called freedom, DUMB. But I've been very cautious. My last wine trip, I think, was 2 Januaries ago, and as much as I would love to get out there and travel the world, and I feel like my travel memories from Facebook seem to come up every week of the places I used to go and be and stay, and wine trips and everything else. But, I just don't want to take a risk or do something that would impact my family just because I want to go to a winery. So for me, my personal choice is to stay cautious right now.
Okay. So do you want to talk a little bit more about how we find you on social media? How do people find you, and how do people connect with you?
Absolutely. I am all Dallas Wine Chick on Twitter, on Facebook, on my blog. All you have to do is just reach out to me, and I'm pretty responsive, and I would love to connect.
Okay. And we have a few more minutes. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, or would you like me to go ahead and wrap up?
I think probably wrap up, because my mind is melted.
Okay, your mind is melted. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit. So what I'm doing right now on social media is starting a live. I've already started a live broadcast on the first and third Fridays of the month.
That's awesome.
These premiere and are on YouTube, so they will be posted on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, etc. And so what we would like to do is, you need to subscribe, because I'll be doing this at least once a week. I have a list lined up until May of next year of back-to-back broadcast interviews on one platform or another. So I'm kind of juggling back and forth. So hit subscribe, and you're welcome to ask any questions here of either of us. And thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I've enjoyed talking to you, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, we forgot about our Southern accents. I think both of our, okay. So I'm from Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, and I've lived in Oregon for 24 years. And
I grew up in Atlanta. So
so 3 hours apart. We could have met there. It would have been a lot easier. Okay. Thank you. It was nice talking to you.
Nice to talk to you too. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.